Welcome to Honduras, where we've been for the last 6 weeks, I believe, in this little area right here, pretty much. Waiting to get into Guatemala. Hopefully they'll open the border soon and we'll be back on the road. We're going to make this a two-part series on why we're traveling the world in a 1995 Range Rover Classic. A lot of people didn't think that was a good idea, but so far it's been the best idea we came up with. The first part, we're going to talk about how we got a hold of Reggie in his first few years of traveling with him. And the second part, we're going to go through him, show you everything about him, what we're going to end up doing to him over the next year and a half. We're headed back to the United States. We hope to be there hopefully in the next month or two. When we get there, we're going to tear into him, fix a couple things that need to be worked on, and redesign the whole vehicle in a whole different way. So hope you like this series, and let's get to it. I've had over the years everything from a 1972 VW van, 74 VW van, a 76 VW van, old school 72 Chevy Blazer, a VW dune buggy, a 1977 Honda Civic, which other than the gas mileage was a terrible car. We had a Ford F-250 with a camper on it. It was very comfortable, but we couldn't do what we wanted to do or go where we wanted to go. So we had a custom built Suzuki Sidekick that had Dana 44 axle in the front, a Ford 8.8 in the back, Toyota running gear, transmission and dual transfer cases. That wasn't the greatest overlanding vehicle. That was a trailer vehicle. Traveled a lot in many different vehicles, and so far this Range Rover Classic has been probably my favorite vehicle so far. It has its challenges, or it did. Since we've worked on it so much and changed all the things that are bad, it's been an incredibly dependable vehicle. It takes us everywhere we want to go the way it's built. It's just been all around a fantastic truck. We got it off a friend who just called me up one day and says, I have this thing leaking oil in my driveway, would you take it? So I gave him, I think it was $1,200 for it, and it was completely stock, run down from just nobody taking care of it, but it was clean, no rust. It was great. We were headed to Death Valley and we thought, well, let's just take it. 20 years old. And we thought if it breaks down, we'll just leave it anyway and fly home. It ended up being an amazing trip, and we fell in love with it. It was the perfect size, drove well, it was fun, so we went with it. So that's how we got a hold of it. The very first thing we did, put some decent tires on it, put a good suspension and shocks, an old man Emu suspension and shocks on it. The front end was a little crummy on the bumper, so we ripped the bumper off and put a new bumper on it. I'm kind of a modifier, so we had a junk bumper off of Jeep Cherokee, and we ended up changing that to fit. We put a 10,000 pound winch on it. So then it was pretty good, and we felt more confident in it. After we did all that, we went on a few more trips, went back down to Death Valley. On the way back, we came through the California mountains. And when it gets to altitude and on some of the passes, it's kind of a dog. So we decided to swap out the motor for a 4.6 V8, the Land Rover motor. We got a fully redone Ashcroft Stage 3 automatic transmission. We were planning on going up to the Arctic Circle. We were running behind. We were leaving on a Monday morning, and we ended up getting the motor in that Sunday night and firing it up for the first time Sunday night. Everything worked out perfect. It was great, had a lot of power. We did about 6,000 miles. For about 2 years we had that 4.6 in it, going all over Death Valley. We went to the Arctic Circle, we went through Alaska, into a lot of Canada. The only thing we didn't like was the fuel economy. It was terrible. Then we thought, well, we think we're going to go over to Australia. We were going to be there for about a year, so we thought we should probably do something because the fuel economy would kill us. So we ended up putting a 2.8 TGV in it. So I put that in, and that's what it's got in it now. And the The gas mileage almost tripled. With the 4.6, we were probably getting 11 miles to the gallon. With the 2.8, we get on the highway, we can get up to about 30 miles to the gallon. We average about 25. So it's been a big help with that diesel. It's a little slower on the start, but the thing is amazing. The vehicle's been great. We never have a problem, and we love it. And with Reggie, it's been phenomenal. No problems. It's actually one of the only vehicles I've ever had where I've never worried about anything. It's incredibly easy to rebuild. Any part, easily pull apart an axle in no time to replace any part. Never had to, but everything is so simple. No electronics. It makes everything so much better. I can actually sleep at night knowing that it's just going to start right up the next day, and it's never given us an issue. Even with bad fuel in South America, no, we've never had an issue. It always starts. The highest altitude we've been to with it is about 18,000 feet, and that was in South America. You have a power drop, but no problem. It starts right up. When it gets cold, it can be an issue because we don't run glow plugs. We have glow plugs, but they're not hooked up. The motor can actually fire at a pretty low temperature. I'm sure we'll change that because we plan on going to colder areas in the future. We've never had a problem not having glow plugs. And we've been down to about, probably the coldest we've been down is 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's never had a problem starting. By no means would we say anybody should go out and get a Range Rover Classic. It's a vehicle you have to learn to love, and we do. We wouldn't change the vehicle we picked, at least not yet. We're matched with them pretty well. Everybody needs to choose what they want in their vehicle based on how they feel, how they drive, how much work do you want to do. We've seen every vehicle you can imagine on the road, and everybody has a reason for which one they choose. The one thing we hear all the time, it's almost always from people who have never had any other car, but they always say, oh, get a Toyota. Toyota's the best, blah, blah, blah. Out of all the vehicles we've seen, we have to say we haven't seen one that's any better than any others. We've helped just as many Toyotas as anyone else. I have my choices. I would never have a Nissan, except maybe a Patrol. Some of the Patrols I really like. Everybody's different. And there is no car that's better than any other. There's just your car. And stay tuned for the next Reggie video, where we go through in detail of Reggie's current setup. My dad always used to say never buy a car that was made on a Monday or a Friday. I don't know how you find that out.